Hi guys, in this video we'll be talking about the basics of epidemiology and about screening tests in detail. So epidemiology is very vast subject and is the most important part of SPM. So what it is basically the study of diseases, the incidence of diseases, the prevalence of diseases, the various risk factors associated with the diseases. And when I say diseases, you can broadly classify them into infectious and communicable and non-communicable diseases. So your communicable diseases will be your infectious diseases, and then when you talk about those, you can talk about the host, and then about the agent which causes the disease, and then there are non-communicable diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and all those will come under this topic. So any topic in epidemiology, other than the studies, the case control study, the cross sectional studies, the cohort studies, all those will be cover. I'll be covering that in a separate video. But everything other than that, which pertains to the disease aspect of epidemiology, you can explain using this triad. So any question they ask based on epidemiology, you can use this triad. So this is known as the epidemiological triad, and it has three parts to it. One is the agent or the pathogen, the host, and the environment. Now, the agent or the pathogen, you need to know how infective it is or what's sensitive to various antibiotics. And then what you can do is you can either for viruses you can give vaccines so that they develop antibodies towards that, or for for certain strains of bacteria you have antibiotics ready for you. So you need to know talk about all that when it comes to the agent. Then coming to the host, which is the human being, should be talking about the age, the what kind of environment they're in, what is the social economic status. Then all those things will come in this. So all the risk factors will be included in this. And when I said about the environment, that's a separate thing. It will include the climate, the population density, the social structure, and what type of house they live, the sanitation, and what type of healthcare facilities are available in that area. So if you see in non-communicable diseases, this part will be more important, which is the host and the environment. In communicable diseases, this part will be more important. Part this part will be more important. In non-communicable, this will be more important. So any question they ask in that, you put this triad and you explain what are the different factors which affect the disease. That will give you some decent marks, and this is the basic requirement for any epidemiological studies. There are some indicators which will be mentioned. The indicators which we saw in the previous videos, the mortality and morbidity indicators, the same thing will be disease specific, and then area specific. That will be the difference between the indicators of epidemiology and indicators of health. So pretty much overlapping, so I didn't talk a lot about that. So that is all I wanted to tell about epidemiology basics. So in the next few videos we'll be looking at the various infectious and non-communicable diseases. So infectious, I'll be grouping it into bacterial, viral, protozoal, and other infections. So it will be easy for us to understand what type of testing they do, what kind of features they have, and do they have any antibiotics or antigens or all those. We just group those things, it'll become much easier. We just look at the whole thing, will become very complicated. Just split them into small groups, it will become much easier. So that would be all about epidemiology basics. And then moving on to screening test. Screening tests are basically some tests which you use to identify high risk population. So suppose you have a disease spreading among the population and you want to identify who's susceptible to it, and you want to decrease the prevalence of the disease and decrease the incidence of disease, you use this thing called screening test. So there are several features of a good screening test, and the most important ones are it should be simple, should be easy to perform. Both are kind of overlapping. And then it should be sensitive and specific. Now the sensitivity and specificity, I'll talk about this when I talk about that 2 by 2 square, and then that false positive, true positive, false negative, and true negative. When I talk about that, I will talk about the sensitivity and specificity. They help in quantifying the quality of the screening test. Okay, I'll just talk more about that in just a second. So other than that, it needs to be cheap. It should be acceptable to the population. For example, a pap smear won't be acceptable to most of them because they won't be comfortable doing it. But it is a gold standard for cervical cancer, so we haven't found anything better than that. So that we are still sticking on to that. But that is something which you need to know, which is acceptable to the population. Then it should be accurate and repeatable. Now, if they ask you a question like what are the features of ideal screening test, these are the points which you are supposed to write. It should be 100% sensitive, 100% specificity. Just a second, I'll talk about this. Should be reproducible, same thing as repeatable, easy to perform, fast and automated, not expensive. And all diseases don't have screening tests. For a disease to have a screening test, these are the features the disease should have. First of all, it should be an important health problem like hypertension or diabetes, which is profoundly present across the world. So it should be something like that. Second, effective treatment should be there for the disease. What's the point of finding a disease which you can't treat? And then there should be latent or asymptomatic stage. So there should be an initial stage of the disease where you can screen and actually prevent the disease, or prevent the progression of disease rather. Then there should be a diagnostic test present uh, to confirm the disease. Okay, like pap smear is a screening test for cervical cancer, but it is not diagnostic. Diagnostic will be a biopsy sample where you study it under the microscope. Then the natural course of the disease should be understood. Same point as the second thing. There's no point in finding out a screening test for a disease which you don't completely understand, you don't know how to treat. And finally, it should be economically feasible. These are given by WHO, so I just forgot to mention about that. So these are all the things you need to know about the screening test. Now moving on to that 2 by 2 thing. So this is the table which you need to know. This is the number of true positive, false negative, true negative. So what is this trying to say? True positive is someone who has the disease and the test is also positive. False positive is someone who doesn't have the disease but has a positive test result. So false negative is someone who has the disease but the test result comes negative. True negative is someone who doesn't have the disease and test result comes negative. So how we'll represent this is we'll have a curve. It's known as a bimodal curve. So this is how it looks. So let this green color be the number of positives and this blue color be negatives, negative test results. So you see this overlapping area over here. That overlapping area is where most of this false negative and false positive business occurs. So every test is not 100% accurate. Okay, there are some errors which occur, and the specificity and sensitivity help us understand how much error occurs and how accurate this disease is, how accurate the screening test is. So the sensitivity is the ability to correctly detect who have the disease. So what they're trying to say is when you take 100 people who have the disease, what is the chance that you will get, what is the number of people you will get positive for the test via the test. I just try to be more clear. So sensitivity is how how much you can correctly detect the presence of disease who have the disease. So say 100 people already have the disease and they have been detected by some gold standard test. Okay, now the sensitivity of this screening test will be number of people positive from this 100 using this screening test who get positive result on the screening test. So that is sensitivity. Basically the the positive study. The specificity is how it eliminates this false negative. So how you look at it is, uh, it has to detect, it should have very less false positive and false negative. So very less false positive means sensitivity is very high. Very less false negative means specificity is very high. So that's something which you need to understand. You don't need to mug up these formulas. You can derive these formulas if you understand this. Sensitivity is the ability of screening test to find the positive results. Specificity is how much it minimizes the false negative results. So, and then there are two more things known as positive predictive value and negative predictive value. So, uh, this is like contrast to the sensitivity and specificity, where the likelihood of a positive test being actually positive and a likelihood of a negative test being actually negative. So that would be all for this. And there are two ratios known as likelihood ratio and odds ratio. What it basically does is, it won't be coming in this, it'll come in all these studies, this cohort study, cross sectional studies. It'll help in understanding the relationship of risk factor with the disease. So we'll talk about that in detail later. So a small extra point is Bayes theorem. So Bayes theorem is a relationship between the prevalence of the disease and sensitivity. So I didn't want to complicate this a lot. So I just mentioned something called Bayes theorem. If you're interested, please go read about it. You'll find it really useful. Thank you.